So we've got the massive hole chopped out in the floor. You want to set the drag tyres on just to see what she could look like when she's done. So Nick's got the fun job now of getting the grinder and cleaning up all these rough edges from the plasma cutter. See all that there? So what's that, like a 40 grit?
Yeah, 40 grit.
40 grit flapper disc. It just hammers through that. This side's pretty much done now. We just got to go around.
We should have bought more 40 grits. We forgot 140 and 260s, but it'll be right. It'll be right.
Still need to get some dry ice so we can get this sound deadener off. I don't like chopping through it, it stinks and it catches on fire. And if we just go and chop that off, Nick, when we go to weld stuff to that, we've got to pull it off anyway and it'll look like dog shit.
Dry ice probably the go. You don't reckon we can hit it with a hammer or?
It's just soft. Soft and shitty and sticks to everything. It'll be way quicker.
We'll get some dry ice.
Cool. I guess once that's sorted, we start making up the engine frame, can start mounting things up and get it rolling. So Nick's done a good job and he's cleaned up all the sharp edges on the big hole here. I've done some rough measurements. We need to chop this out so we can clear the balancer. The alternator pulley comes back here somewhere. And on this side we've had to chop so much out. My original mark was here, which would be for say a manual gearbox. But then when you got an automatic one, the back of the gearbox is a lot bigger, so we need to chop out a lot more. Next stage here is the dry ice. This is about $8 a kilo. Just cover this panel and leave for about 10 minutes, then we should be able to just pick all this old sound deadener off. You can literally hear it cracking. Now my heat gun won't register that. But that's the underside there. Now you definitely don't need to use that much, but considering I bought 2 kilos, that's about 1.5 there. I just figured I'd just pile it up anyway. But it looks like it's just about ready to come up. And you end up with this. So usually this is like a sticky gooey mess that you'll be there for hours trying to pick it off with a screwdriver. I reckon the whole card probably cost you about 30 or 40 bucks, maybe 4 to 5 kilos to do all these panels in the front as well. But so we've cut that out. Now we need to get a piece of steel and put it in there. Easiest way is get dirty hands. Dirty hands. Put it in there. And with your dirty hands, you just rub over the top of the area what you want to make. End up with that. Chop it out, and end up with that. So now Peter's going to make this out of a bit of sheet metal, and then we can weld that on.
So will I be able to just pay for my, if I like don't get...
That's it. Alright. Still going?
Yeah.
This will be good if it fits first time.
Yeah. Oh, nearly.
Spot on. So yesterday we got the plate steel put back in the chassis rail. It's chassis rail from now on.
Someone in the comments will get mad about it.
Yeah, that's good. At some stage we are going to make some sort of bracing that goes across here way or something like that, but we're not too worried about that just yet. So now we've started making up the frame for the front end, and we've got a whole heap of these, that's a 12mm hole in the middle, and we've got 10mm ones as well. So Nick's chopped this one down. This is for the other side for the control arm, so we put one in there, that'll then go in the other side. We bolted the old rack mounts on for reference as well. Both of the rear control arm mounts as well.
That's right.
Cool. That looks pretty good. Jig for the rack mounts are done. Next part now, this bottom engine mount.
Sick, isn't it?
Is it?
Well, I need to
Now the frame's coming together really nice, and you're probably wondering, once we have this and we try and sit it in the back of the car, how do we know exactly where it's meant to sit? And I've come up with a pretty good idea. We've got an old strut here, chopped it off, so we've just got the pole, and we'll join that somewhere on this frame. Come around the back. We've worked out that this mark here and this mark here is dead center of the front struts. So if we drill out that to the diameter of those shiny strut poles, it means when we sit the frame in the back and lift it up and poke it through these holes, put some washers and the nuts on the top, we can set the height of the frame, and once we're happy with that, we know then the frame will be sitting perfectly square with the car, and we can set where the height needs to be, and down the bottom then we can set how far forwards or how far back we're going to want the frame to sit. You may be looking at this frame going, what the hell is this crap? But seriously, when I built the blue car, I didn't use any of this, and I just did the whole lot by eye, and it actually turned out okay. We've already tried to remove the frame and bolt it back in, and it fits almost perfect. So this is going to be a great start to get those control arms and all the engine mounts in the exact same position that we need. So we've gone and assembled the strut poles back on the strut tops again, and while that was hanging down, I changed this circle tube to a square end so I could slip this bit of box section into that, and while it's dangling, that just gives me a sort of upright where the strut should be sitting in its natural position. While I was happy with that, just got a few offcuts here, joined that on. One of those actually made it rock solid, but seeing as we're trying to make this perfect in the rear end, I figured I'd just put 2 of those extra mounts on there. But yeah, she's rock solid now. Pretty much just need to go and do the same thing to the other side, and then we're going to be good to go. Put this in the back. So we've measured across the strut tops, and I've got a 20mm hole saw now, and we're going to bang a hole in here and then one on the other side, and we're going to be ready to drop the frame out of the front and install it into the back. So both of these holes are cut out, ready to drop the frame out of the front and put it into the back. Come back in episode 3.